comprehensive overview of the various initiatives taken by L&D Precision Engineering and Systems. Let's all once again thank Shri. Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Samir V. Kamath, Secretary, DD&R&D and Chairman of the Defence Research and Development Organization, DRD. Ladies and gentlemen, Swagat Kijiye, Dr. Samir.
Shri Pralhad Joshi ji, Honorable Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution and New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, Shri Shobha Karandlaje, Honorable Minister of State for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Labour and Employment, Government of India, Shri Tejasvi Surya, Member of Parliament, Bengaluru South, Lok Sabha, Shri Dr. V. Narayanan, Chairperson, ISRO, Shri Baba Kalyani, Chairman and Managing Director, Bharat Forge, Shri Arun Ramchandani, Senior Vice President and Head, L&T Precision Engineering and Systems, Mr. Roland Crystal, MD and Member of the Board, Inteco Melting and Casting Technologies, Shri HVS Krishna, Chairman IMS Foundation, Shri Narayan Prasanna, Laghu Udyog Bharati, Karnataka, Dr. Rakesh Kumar, Chairman Indian Exposition, Mart Limited. And all the dignitaries, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen who are present in the audience today. A very good afternoon to you, and I am indeed privileged to be present here today. At the outset, let me congratulate IMS Foundation and Laghu Udyog Bharati Karnataka chapter for organizing this event. Today we live in very interesting times. There is a geopolitical churn going on. We are moving from a unipolar world to a multipolar world. And today, if a nation has to ensure its economic growth, it's very important that we ensure both external security as well as internal security in the nation. And for you to retain your sovereignty, it is very important that you indigenously develop the critical technologies that are necessary to build the systems which are necessary to defend the country. Our Honorable Prime Minister and our Honorable Defence Minister have given a lot of impetus for Atmanirbhar Bharat, especially in the defence sector. We have now moved gradually from a country which used to import 70% of our weapon systems and sensors to last year, where we place orders on domestic industry to the extent of 90% of volume. This is indeed a very welcome development, and I'm sure with the kind of momentum that has now set in the country, especially after Operation Sindoor, where several of our indigenous defense systems have performed very well. I'm proud to say that the contribution of MSMEs in all the indigenous systems which did very well in the recent Operation Sindoor is very significant. DRDO, when it started its journey of making defense systems, we not only partnered with the large industries such as Bharat Forge, L&T, who are present here today, but we partnered with several MSMEs. In fact, in the development of LCA Mark I or the Akash missile systems, more than 2,000 MSMEs were involved. So the success of these systems in Operation Sindoor is also a reflection of the success of the MSMEs who have contributed. This year, Honorable Raksha Mantri has declared as the year of reforms in the Ministry of Defence. We have now taken several steps to not only improve the ease of doing business with MOD, but we have taken steps to see how we can promote R&D and innovation in MSMEs in the country. I think, as was mentioned by my previous speakers, you have the IDEX challenge, you have the DRDO's PDF programs, where we can fund up to 50 crores now, not 10 crores, for R&D by MSMEs. I would request you, please use this opportunity, because unless we take a whole of nation approach, we cannot move to the next stage of achieving technology leadership. Atmanirbharta and self-reliance is good, but I think we have to now move towards technology leadership so that we don't only make systems for our country, but also make systems for the world. I'm sure conferences such as this will give a big boost for the MSMEs who are exhibiting their products, because finally the proof of the pudding is if the product that you innovate and develop gets used. So I once again use this opportunity to congratulate IMS and Laghu, Udyog, Bharati for organizing such an event. And my best wishes for a very successful event over the next 2 days, and I was glad to hear that you have already booked the slots for the next event in 2027. So thank you and Jai Hind.
So we Kala, as follow the entire fraternity, we utilize this opportunity towards further growth and development. Let's all once again give it on a close hand. So thank you, sir. We also have on stage the chairperson of ISRO, Shri Narayana. Well, ISRO needs no introduction. So put your hands together and let's start.
Namaskara. Good evening to all of you. Most respected and a dynamic Honorable Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution and New and Renewable Energy, Shri Pralhad Joshi ji, Shri Sobha Karanti, Honorable Minister of State for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Labour and Environment. One of the very dynamic youngsters, MP of the Lok Sabha, our own parliamentary constituency, Mr. Udyog ji, Chairman Managing Director of Bharati Forge Limited, and one of the great contributor for the growth of India, Shri Baba Kalyani, Senior Vice President and Head L&T, Shri Arun Ramchandrani, Mr. Roland Krister, Shri H.S. Krishna, Chairman, IMS Foundation, Shri Narayana Prasanna, President, Laghu, Bharati, Karnataka, Dr. Rajesh Kumar, very distinguished audience, and my dear friends. Really, it is a great honor and privilege for me to be with you to participate in the 7th edition of India Manufacturing Show, IMS, along with very senior dignitaries, the chairman of DRDO. And this is a very flagship event of BIEC, truly embodies the spirit of Make in India and Make for the World. As we gather here under the theme, Empowering India, the Future of Global Manufacturing. First of all, let me extend my deepest appreciation and congratulations to the IMS Foundation for curating this platform that unites over 500 senior delegates, 150 domain experts, and almost 20,000 business professionals across 3 days. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy and proud to be an Indian to stand in front of you after accomplishing just 4 days back on November 2nd, the ISRO's heaviest communication satellite, CMS-03 placed successfully in the orbit for enhancing the capability of India using our own Bharati rocket LVM-3 M5. This mission is launched by ISRO, no doubt. But if you look at the contribution, almost 80 to 85% systems are delivered by Indian industry. That speaks volume of the contribution by the Indian industry. When we talk about ISRO programs from 1960 to today, early 1960s to today, we have come a long way. And I would like to tell 1963, November 21st was an important starting point for us. We had the first successful launch of a tiny rocket from Indian soil. That rocket was received from USA, small tiny rocket. And at that point of time, we were truly 70 years behind the advanced countries. From that humble beginning, this year, July 30th was another important occasion milestone for ISRO. We launched the NASA ISRO synthetic aperture radar satellite, a 10,300 crore investment by JPL NASA for making a payload and an antenna. And a similar payload made by India. The entire satellite was built in India by Indian industries and assembled in India and launched by our own rocket. Again, 80% contribution came from Indian industry. Proud movement and movement. Today, I want to say, not only one rocket, most of our operation rockets, 80, whenever a rocket hits off, you can believe me, 80% budget is invested in Indian industries and the contributions are from Indian industry. I cannot mention one or two industries, but lot of industries, almost 450 Indian industries are contributing. And in 2020, Indian space industry got a very big boost under the leadership and guidance of Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, when Government of India announced the space sector reform. At that point of time, hardly we had few startup systems in the country, 3 to 4 startup companies working for space in the country. Today, I am happy to inform that 330 plus startup ecosystems are working for the company. The entire credit should go to Honorable Prime Minister of India. The PSLV is a workhouse of India, and we have grown 5 PSLV to the Indian consortium led by HAL and LN. And they have produced the first rocket, and we are going to have that launch before this end of this finance year. Mostly by February, we are going to have that launch. Once we succeed 2 launches, our plan is to give at least 50% of the PSLV directly to the Indian industry consortium. That's what is the plan. And this year, September 10, 2025 is another historical day for India and MSME system. 511 crore agreement with HAL was signed, and the small satellite launch vehicle, that is the latest addition in our launch vehicle system, the entire technology is transferred to HAL for them to manufacture and produce. And we are also totally transferring 15 SSLV production to Indian industries. And IMS 2025 emphasis on people, skills and sustainability, redefining manufacturing jobs in the country. And Indian space program started with a bicycle era in the earlier phase. When we started our program, we used to move our rocket parts in old bicycles. And the first Apple satellite for an experiment in Bengaluru city, it was taken by a Udyog cost. And from that era, you all know, we have come a long way. Today, we are going to Moon, Mars, and 2023, August 23rd was a historical day. India, first country, successfully soft landing near the south pole of Moon. And what a historical day. And Mart operation, we have to travel almost 68 kilometers and restart a engine after 295 days. Please understand, if somebody is going on vacation, coming back after 60 days and start his car, you will understand what type of difficulty it is. Here, after 295 days, we have to restart the engine. Please understand, Honorable Prime Minister is in the ground floor, in the first floor, and we are in the ground floor, the engine has to restart, and we have developed and delivered the engine. You can understand what type of tension, what type of movement it will be. Perfectly restarted, and India is the only country, first country succeeded in the first attempt in the Mars orbit. Because that is also the contribution of MSMEs are very huge and very huge. Coming to another important achievement, early 90s, the cryogenic rocket engine technology was denied to the country. And the functional requirement of the rocket engine is very simple. In Bengaluru road, the car goes with a velocity speed of 100 to 120 km per second maximum. Oh, I am wrong, probably. Maybe 60 to 70 km per hour, even though capability is 120 km per hour. To place a Chandrayaan 3, the rocket engine has to give 37,000 km per hour velocity. And 50% has to come from cryogenic engine technology. This was denied to India. Today I am very happy that we have developed 3 cryogenic propulsion systems. Indians have developed, Indian education system has developed, and we have tagged in all and we have made systems having that technology. And a country which started with bicycle era in 10 places, we are number 1 in the world today. And behind that success story, it is not only ISRO team, it is the Indian industries, MSMEs and the startup ecosystem. You have played a crucial role. Let me salute all the industries for your great work. And dear friends, our hands are really full. And during Sintur operation, I can only make a statement along with Secretary DRDO. Our systems also, the satellite system, fantastically work well. And the satellite systems are fantastically working well. For placing the satellite, you have contributed to the launch vehicle, manufacturing the satellite, you have contributed. That means you also got the great credit for that. And this year, lot of accomplishments. We had the first launch attempt in 1979. It was a positive success. And this year, January 29, the 100th launch was a perfect success, and we have written in the golden letters of Indian history, the 100th launch vehicle was a successful mission. And yes, electronic parts, really, we are lot of items we are importing, but I am happy to inform that recently you would have come to know Hon'ble Prime Minister has already announced the 32-bit processor was totally developed in the country. Computer processor was developed by SCL and ISRO together, and we have rolled. And another important thing, the Axiom program. Axiom programs, Boston Sukla is the second astronaut and first Gaganyatri Indian who was sent to International Space Station and brought back safely. And in that, ensuring the safety launch of them, even holding the rocket in the last phase, ensuring the safety launch, Indians were behind, and we have proved to the country that Indian education system and Indians are second to none, even to hold the rocket in the last phase to ensure the safety of the launch. And under the visionary leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, lot of good things are happening in the space sector. Whatever currently we are having 56 satellites in orbit, serving the common man of this country in multiple areas. In another 3 to 4 years, this number has to go to 3 to 4 times from this number. So we are all working towards that. And Honorable Prime Minister has announced right now we are launching maximum 10 to 12 launches per year. He has announced in another 5 years this number should go to 50 launches per year. And towards that, without industrial partners, surely it is not possible to accomplish. And I am sure you give your wholehearted support and effort to accomplish that. And dear friends, this IMS 2025 is more than an event. It's a launch pad for India's manufacturing resilience and needs. Let us draw inspiration from our shared journey. And I used to I'm basically by profession, I was a core technocrat, not a manufacturing engineer in the initial phase. But today, also, we are taking care of everything. I used to make those days as a designer, I used to make a simple statement. If our manufacturing team is not strong, if our industries are not strong, rocket and satellite will be only in the paper form. It cannot take off and it cannot fly. And towards that, you have contributed heavily, and I am sure the contribution will come in a big way. We are having 2 great leaders, Baba Kalyani, as well as L&T team here. Their contribution, I don't want to talk, but their contribution also I have to appreciate. Along with that, let me also appreciate the contribution of each and every industrial partner who are here and who are not here. And the days are not far away for Honorable Prime Minister to declare this country as a developed country before we celebrate the 100 years of independence. And if I make a single statement, Indian space program, when it was started, it was 70 years behind the developed nations. By 2040, the way we have started out the program under the guidance of Honorable Prime Minister of India, Indian space program will be in par with any other spacefaring nation in terms of launches, in terms of satellite, in terms of human spaceflight program, in terms of application. And towards that, you all are going to be there one way or other. Thank you, Jay.
Let's give a round of applause to Shri Narayan. Thank you, sir. We have on stage Shri and he is the member of the advisory committee of IMS 2025 and founder of Home India. Please put your hands together and follow.
मंच पर विराजमान सभी मान्यवर और सामने बैठे हुए सभी मान्यवर, यहाँ मान्यवर से नीचे कोई है नहीं, सब लोग इम्पोर्टेंट लोग ही है। और कर्नाटक माता और कन्नड़ भाषा को कोटि कोटि प्रणाम करके, क्योंकि मैं कन्नड़ बोल नहीं सकता इसलिए हिंदी में 5 मिनट बोलूंगा। ये 7वां शो है इंडिया मैन्युफैक्चरिंग शो का, और ये 7 शब्द का हमारे देश में एक अनन्य साधारण महत्व भी है। 7 समंदर पार करने की बात भारत करता है, 7 सुरों की बात करता है, सप्तर्षि की बात करता है, 7 वचन होते हैं, शादी में भी 7 कदम चलना होता है, सप्तपदी कहते हैं। दिनों की गणना भी करते हैं तो वो सप्ताह होता है, 7 दिन का होता है, 7 वचन होते हैं। हमारे देश में 7 की सारी पवित्र कल्पनाएं हैं, लेकिन हमारे आसपास में थोड़े शत्रु देश भी बैठे हैं जिनको सिंदूर से हमको हमारी ताकत दिखानी पड़ी। उनमें भी कभी कभी 7 का महत्व उनको दिखाई देता है। जब कोई थोड़ा बहुत अच्छा काम कर लेते हैं तब वो कहते हैं कि उसको 7 खून माफ है, वो उनकी कंसेप्ट में है। तो 7 मर्डर्स को भी वो माफ कर देते, उधर भी 7 का यूज करते हैं। कोई आसान बात नहीं है किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए कि कंसिस्टेंसी रखना, किसी चीज में कंटिन्यूटी रखना, और इतना मुश्किल काम करते करते हमेशा पहले की अपेक्षा में संख्या को ज्यादा करना। इसलिए सबसे पहले मैं लघु उद्योग भारती के कर्नाटका चैप्टर के कृष्णा जी और उनके टीम को बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन और बधाई देता हूं, क्योंकि उन्होंने ये कंसिस्टेंसी रखी, कंटिन्यूटी रखी, सक्सेस रखा, और इस IMS को उन्होंने वर्धिष्णु और वृद्धिमान किया, बढ़ता रहा। और अब ये बताया गया कि 8वें शो के जो है ऑलरेडी कुछ स्टॉल्स बुक हो चुके हैं। लघु उद्योगों को, MSMEs की पोटेंशियल प्रचंड है। हमारे देश की क्षमता बहुत ज्यादा है, अपॉर्चुनिटीज भी बहुत ज्यादा है, लेकिन मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं था जहां ये सब लोग एकत्रित आ सके, एक दूसरे की क्षमताएं देख सके, एक दूसरे का इनोवेशन देख सके, एक दूसरे के प्रोडक्ट्स देख सके और अपने आप में सुधार लाने की कोशिश करें। अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्या है उसको समझने की कोशिश करें। इसके लिए प्लेटफॉर्म की आवश्यकता थी, जो प्लेटफॉर्म मिसिंग था। ऐसा नहीं है कि सरकार ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं देती है, लेकिन आप सब लोग जानते हैं सरकारी तंत्र के, आप सब लोग भुक्तभोगी हैं कि सरकारी तंत्र में एक इस तरह से लिथार्जी आ जाती है, चलो करना है इसलिए करते हैं। तो जब लघु उद्योग भारती जैसे NGO, एक अर्थ से कह सकते हैं सामाजिक संगठन जब आगे आता है, ऊर्जा के साथ आगे आता है, तब एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म मिलता है सभी MSMEs को कि जिसमें आकर वो उत्साह के साथ अपनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज को समझ सकते हैं, स्कोप को समझ सकते हैं। मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि ये भारत का एकमात्र शो है, मुझे ऐसे किसी दूसरे एनजीओज का या संगठन का इतना प्रामाणिक प्रयत्न दिखाई नहीं दिया है जो लघु उद्योग भारती का देखने को मिलता है। R&D है, यहाँ पर स्टार्टअप्स है। हमारे बाद में केंद्रीय मंत्री वगैरह बताएंगे कि किस तरह से 500 स्टार्टअप्स थे इस देश में, 1.25 लाख हो गए मोदी जी के कारण, और वो और भी बढ़ेंगे क्योंकि इनोवेशंस और कल्पनाओं की उड़ानों में कोई कमी नहीं है हिंदुस्तान में, रादर ज्यादा है हमारे युवाओं के अंदर। लेकिन उन सब लोगों को भी यहाँ पर स्थान मिला है। यहाँ पर 8 कॉन्फ्रेंसेस होने वाले हैं, अलग अलग विषयों के ऊपर होने वाली है, और मेरी जानकारी के अनुसार 25,000 लोगों ने यहाँ पर रजिस्टर किया है कि हम लोग इस पूरे कैंपस को 3 दिन में विजिट करने वाले हैं। 25,000 का आंकड़ा 10 दिन पहले का था, अभी बढ़ गया होगा। सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट मदद करने के लिए तैयार है, लेकिन सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की मदद लेने में जो अड़चनें आती है उसको दूर करने के लिए हम जैसे लोग भी आप लोगों के साथ है, इसको आप लोगों ने ध्यान में रखना चाहिए। एक तो मेरा सुझाव है लघु उद्योग भारती को, ये 7 बार हो गया और 8वां भी आप कर्नाटका में ही कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इसको आप भारत के अन्य राज्यों में भी भले छोटे पैमाने पर क्यों हो, लेकिन करना चालू करना चाहिए, क्योंकि आपने जब शुरू किया तब भी छोटा ही था ये, अब इतना बड़ा हुआ है। तो बहुत बड़ा देश है, देश में लाखों MSMEs है, और सबको कहीं ना कहीं जोड़ने के लिए इतना अद्भुत शो जो है, ये अभी दिल्ली जैसी जगह पर, बाबा कल्याणी जी आशीर्वाद देंगे तो पुणे जैसे जगह पर, मैं भी पुणे का हूं बाबा, नारायणपेट का हूं, मैं आपके ही गांव का हूं, और ऐसे कई जगह पर ये हो सकते हैं। और बहुत सारे राज्य ऐसे हैं कि जो चाहते हैं और मदद भी करेंगे। आप लखनऊ में हो सकता है, सब जगह हो सकता है। आप तय करके 7 शोज 2026 में करने का कोशिश की, 7 शोज 2026, छोटे छोटे देश भर में आप मदद कीजिए, हम भी आपके साथ रहेंगे। हमारे कर्नाटका के बाहर जाकर सारे देश के MSMEs को जोड़ने का, खास करके महिला उद्योजकों का एक अलग से शो करना चाहिए, ऐसा मुझे लगता है। केवल महिला उद्योजकों, देखिए तालियां सिर्फ महिलाओं ने बजाई, बजाना तो सबने चाहिए। तो मैं अपने वाणी को विराम देता हूं, क्योंकि इशारा हुआ था 5 मिनट का, तो 5 मिनट लगभग पूरे हो गए होंगे। अभी आप मंच पर हमारे जो अपनी ऑनेस्टी, इंटीग्रिटी, अपना एक्सेलेंस, इसके कारण जो स्थान केंद्रीय मंत्रिमंडल में बनाए हुए ऐसे प्रहलाद जी को आपको सुनना है, और मोदी सरकार की जो शोभा है वो भी यहाँ पर बैठी हुई है, और हमारे पार्टी के उगते हुए तेजस्वी सूर्य भी आपके सामने बैठे हुए हैं। तो मुझे गर्व है कि ये तीनों कर्नाटक से आते हैं, इसलिए उनको भी मैं धन्यवाद।
कल उनका सेशन है, आई थिंक विस्तृत रूप से बात करेंगे कल। सो लेट्स गिव अ राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज एंड थैंक यू सर। I now request Shri, Tejas Vishwaya, the Honorable Member of Parliament of Bengaluru South, to address all of us. Vandugadesh Bhagavati Shri, Tejas Vishwaya.
Namaskar. All the dignitaries on the stage, all the delegates of the IMS 2025 of the dais. This has become a very important biannual calendar event, a marquee event for Bengaluru, and for all those who are involved in the Indian manufacturing scene. On behalf of all of you, I once again congratulate Laghu Udyog Bharati and the leadership for so professionally and consistently organizing this IMS in such a grand fashion. Each year it has only been growing. Once again, all the very best. I have only 2 points to make. Both the chairman of ISRO and our chairman of DRDO alluded to this in their address. I want to go back to an episode in history of a country, a very interesting note that Al-Biruni, when he visited India, made a note of this. When Al-Biruni visited India a few centuries ago, he recorded how India was once a technology leader, a manufacturing leader, and innovation was the general culture of the land. And due to the passage of time, there was a systematic erosion in all of these three leaderships, in innovation, in technology, and in manufacturing. So much so that we had even lost the art of breeding war horses. And we started importing war horses en masse. And there was an entire ecosystem that was involved in import of these war horses. So if we would import 2,000 war horses by the time they would reach India, and after a few months, only a few would remain and survive. The same thing happened with our weapon manufacturing. So when we were, this entire episode that is very vividly recollected by historians like and travelers like Al-Biruni, very clearly indicates that technology independence and technology leadership is what actually guarantees the sovereignty of a country. After a very long time, under the leadership of our Prime Minister, the country has resolved for not just independence in technology, but to achieve pioneering leadership for the rest of the world. And that is the resolve that is driving Bharat's ambitions in technology and manufacturing today. The whole gamut of national security, when we speak of national sovereignty, wars are today not fought at the borders just by soldiers in uniforms. The whole nation, especially young people who are into technology, into innovation, in emerging technology spaces, there's a lot that rests on them. The coder who is now coming up with new encryptions, he is the soldier of the modern era. The startup that is working on manufacturing and designing of ballistics, I just visited last week a factory right here in outskirts of Bengaluru, SSS Defense, who design and manufacture weapons for India. And all of their weapons, whether it is N-72, P-72, everything has an insignia, born in Bharat. We need 100 more such companies for protecting the national sovereignty and security. Semiconductor fab units are coming up. The Prime Minister has announced the National Mission for Quantum Computing. We are doing so much of incredible work in the renewable energy space that Pralhad leads. All of this will contribute some totally to the national security. If all of this can be summed up in two lines, it is just this. If we depend on technology, if we depend on others for technology, if we import technology, we are importing dependency. If we import technology, we are exporting sovereignty. So the country needs technological leadership, and programs like this, by bringing people together who are working in this space, will help India achieve this leadership in technology and manufacturing. There is so much that we need to learn from the rest of the world. There is so much that we need to change in terms of our culture of punctuality, in terms of meeting our contract deadlines, in our obsession with excellence and top class manufacturing. All of this needs a sea change and to reach the top of the ladder in manufacturing. We have set our vision right, and in the last few years, every sector which hitherto was closed or was only the domain of the government is now open for private enterprise. Whether you want to collaborate with ISRO to launch satellites, or you want to work with DRDO and IDEX to get into, say, counter drone manufacturing, through IDEX, through multi-PLI schemes, many other schemes of the Government of India, young people for the first time are now empowered to actually contribute directly to the national security and sovereignty of the country for the first time in the country's history. So wishing all of you the very best, and congratulating Laghu, Udyog, Bharati for organizing this so successfully once again. Namaste, Bharat Mata ki.
From a developing country to a developed nation. Let's all give a round of applause for an inspiring ethics. And we should be Renewable.